Okay, this is part 2 to the making a Viking boat. Ran out of time on my other one. So where we left off, I had the boat made, and I was making the center part here, and was making our little raised center. Square blocks will go in the center here. This one is 11 inches long, and as you'll see, it'll go right there is where it'll go. So we're going to come in about 3 inches on either side, so that'll place it about get off of there. About right here. And about right here. We're going to place them little blocks there. And then put a little bit of glue there. A little bit of glue there. And then put this thing right on top of it. There we go. Now I might have to make a few more just to put underneath the other sides, which is no problem, just to give it a little bit of stability. So we can make more. We have the technology. There we go. No worries. The only problem dealing with glue gun, it's hot and sticky. Glue on either side of them. Place it right underneath. There we go. And then right underneath. Okay. There we go. That's solid. There we go. Now that's the basics to the boat. Okay. Now before we add anything else to it, we're going to paint that. So I'm going to grab out my little paint cart. I use a little thing that I get, you buy chicken in, wash it off real good. And that's what I put my paint in. Now, black is the main color you're ever going to use. I bought a great big thing for like $8. But you can get the little ones for like 50 cents. Cheap. And you get, if you're only making a few crafts, 50 cents is the way to go. But if you're going to make a lot of crafts, you might want to buy the big jar. I'm going to put a little bit of paint in there. When you're dealing with foam board, you always want to do your first coat in black. Covers a lot. Give me a big brush. I bought 4 of these for $1.25 at Dollar Tree. It's a really good deal. And I'm just going to go through the whole thing. Just brush her down.
Where's that?
Okay. There we go. I got it all primer coated. It is all primer coated black. We're going to set that aside and let that dry for right now. And we're going to do some of the little stuff we're going to need. Okay. So I'm going to set that down here out of our way. I'm going to wash out my brush. Always wash out your brushes or you'll be buying brushes every week. You don't want to do that if you ain't got a lot of money like me. Okay? So, as I mentioned before, this is the Viking boat. Viking boat says we need paddles. Now, if it's a miniature, this is too big. But you can cut it down the middle. Again, kids, have your parents help because this is dangerous. Dangerous for adults too. I can't tell you how many times I'll cut myself. Break it. Now sometimes you might have to throw them away and try it again because mistakes happen. That's why you have erasers on pencils. So cut it. Let's go ahead and make it a second cut to get it all the way through. Hey, looky there. Perfect. Okay. Now this is about the right length and the right size for a paddle for that boat we just made. So what we're going to do is we're going to start at one end, leaving approximately about an inch. And we're going to carve into it just a little bit. Okay? We want to leave just a little bit at a time. Bring it back just a little bit, just a little bit at a time. Carve in just a little bit more, a little bit at a time. Just like that. Okay. A little bit more. Trim a little bit of it off. Then we're going to flip it over, and we're going to do the same thing. A little bit at a time. And that's the key, just a little bit at a time. You don't want to take too much, or you'll end up trimming way too much off. No. Turn it back over and maybe get a few niches off the other side. There we go. Then we're going to come back to the paddle. The paddle's good on one side, but the other side it ain't quite. So we're going to kind of round that off. Being real careful not to cut your thumb. Okay. And you got yourself a paddle. Now, you might want to trim it down a bit. Oop. See there, I almost went too deep. So I'm going to come back the other way. There we go. Got yourself a nice paddle. Now repeat that about 9 more times. And you got yourself a mess of paddles. And then we'll be ready to, after we're done painting the ship, I'll be ready to glue onto the side of your boats. So we'll set them aside. Next thing is, Vikings always had shields on the side of their boat. Now, you can do these one of two ways. You can buy a bag of different size circles. Now you get these at sometimes Dollar Tree has them, sometimes they don't, for $1.25, or Walmart has them all day long for $1.97, $2.97, or sometimes you catch them on clearance for 97 cents. But you need the real big ones. Now, if you really want to go cheap, here's a nifty little trick. Let's throw these aside right now. Don't want to throw them on the ground because that's money, and we save money around here. Grab yourself a paper plate. You can get a whole mess, styrofoam plate. You can get a whole mess of these at Dollar Tree for $1.25. Grab one of them. Grab a lid from a milk container. Again, ask your parents' permission, because if they go into the fridge and the lid's off their milk container, they're going to go, "Hey, what you doing?" So always ask your permission before you grab something, okay? But milk container is about the right size. Put it down on the paper plate. Take your little pencil, draw a circle around it, just like that. See that? And then very carefully cut around it. Now, if you got a good sharp knife, you're going to come out with a really good circle. Okay, just like that. And it's just a little bit bigger than the circles that they normally have, but you can use this and you can make the shields out of it. I'm going to make a shield out of both of these and show you the difference between between both of them. Okay? Now, anytime you're using styrofoam, just like I said before, you have to paint it first with the black. Whenever you dip brushes in water, dry them off first. Much better. Let that sit there and dry. It only takes a couple seconds for that to dry. So I'm going to leave that set in there. I am going to get my burnt umber. This is what I like the shield collars to be made out of. So we'll pour a little bit on my little thing here. Use a smaller brush. Now see, I can go with wood. You don't really need the black on there. You can if you want to, but I just go right over it because I want a lighter color on the wood because I want to be able to see the wood grain that's on the original wood. Now you can make wood grain on them styrofoam if you want to, just like we did on the sides of the ship, but you're really not going to see it much after we get done trimming them out. So it's almost a moot point. Moot meaning not worth it. Okay. I'm going to let them two things dry there. It shouldn't take long for that to dry. And then I'm going to grab up some stir sticks. These you can get at Walmart. Right here. They come in a pack for $3.25. These are the most expensive things you'll buy. Right here. But there's so many of them in there. There's so many of them in there that you're going to use them forever. Once you get done with them, you put them up, and there's just tons of them. And you can use them for anything. You can use them to make windows for your houses, doors for your houses, or just regular doors. I mean, you can use them for just about anything. Them are heaven sent right there. Okay, now, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to see how they're rounded at the top there. I'm going to snip that bad boy off. Okay? Clean that out. Look at there. My wooden one's almost dry. So it's dry enough for me to deal with. Okay, I want to take this, just a little bit of glue on the edge, and try to put it dead center of my shield. Okay? Once that's on there, I'll clip off the other end. Then about center of the shield, a little bit of glue. Glue him down. Clip it. Do the same thing on the other side. And like I said, it doesn't matter if it's dead center or not. You want to try to get as close as you can, but if you don't worry about it. It'll look something like that. Now, as you see, it's a little bit messy, but don't worry. Paint will cover that. Okay. Now, I like yellow, red, and blue. We'll stick a little yellow there. Stick a little bit of blue there. Stick a little bit of okay, that red's no good. But I got more red here. There we go. A little bit of red. Using me a new brush. Red. Yeah. Brush down the front of it. And the sides. Trying not to get it on the brown. But if you do, like I said, doesn't matter. Rinse that out, dry it off. Blue on this side. Rinse off. And then yellow on the other side. Okay. Now, after you get done with that, remember me showing you, where are they now? Okay. Sorry there, I lost them for a second. Gold thumbtacks. Take one, as we finished up this thing, we'll put it right in the center of that red. Okay? Find a place where you can punch it through. There you go. You see how that looks? Now in the back of it, got a little sticky thing. Okay? Now that's exactly how you would make one out of styrofoam. After it's black, you paint it brown. You paint it brown, then you'll take these sticks, stick them on there with the glue, cross-membered, and then stick a thumbtack through it. Voila. And you don't have to use the wood, you can use styrofoam. But I made all of mine out of wood just because I think they look neat. I've got a total of 10 of them there. Then we're going to go into the side of our boat as soon as we get them painted. And the boat looks like it's almost dry. It'll take a little bit longer. But I will see you when it's dry. Okay, the black paint has dried. And what I'm doing now is going over it with some nutmeg brown. Now what you're seeing is it'll the black will come through it because the black ain't really completely dry, but that's okay because I want it to make it look like a burnt brown because I want the black to come through, make it look like old wood. If you look really close at it, you can see it's kind of looking, giving an old texture on it, and that's what the, oh, I got a little run there. Get that run out of there. And see how it makes it, the black just kind of comes through a bit. Now I'm going to put a little bit more paint through it. But it'll give it that old look to it. See how that looks on there? That's just a little trick to it. It does, I mean, you want the paint about 99% dry. But you don't have to wait for it to be completely dry. That way it'll give you a mixture. Now to make the mixture really good, you'll want a light color brown, like I used the nutmeg brown. That way it'll give you almost a burnt auburn color by the time you're done. You don't want a dark color brown on there because if you do that, then all you're going to do is be black. And you'll want a little bit of lighter color to it. So, and try to keep your runs out. That's the main thing. Try to keep your runs out. So in any place you want lighter colors, you'll just have to wait for it to dry a little bit more. Oh, need a little bit more paint. Just a little more, so I'm not going to pour any more down on there. That was my dogs, if y'all wondering. I've got 3 Chihuahuas. They bark at a leaf blowing. I think the wind blew a leaf over outside, so they had to bark about it. The good news is we don't need a security system around here. They let us know. So they're as cute as a button. One of these days I might introduce you to them. But that's as soon as they get nicer. Now this main thing here, I want it a little bit lighter, so I'm going to put it a little thicker collar on. So I might have to wait for that to dry some more so that we can get that real on there. Okay. Now I'm going to have to set and wait for this to dry again. Once that gets dry, I'll be back and we will put all the items together and we'll be done. Okay. Alrighty. The boat is pretty much dry. I went ahead and painted all of the oars, and I painted the masts, which is right here. Basically what these are is shish kebab sticks. We got them at Dollar Tree again, $1.25 for the pack. They got two different sizes there, so I basically paid $1.25 a piece for each set, and I got this is the bigger one. These are the little ones. This is going to be the main mast, and these will be attached to the main mast for the sail. Okay, and real simple way of attaching them. I'm going to go up the sail, about 2 inches from the top. Make a little niche. Just enough for the guy to sit in. Then I'm going to come down about the size of my sail. Remember the gray thing I showed you? It's going to go about right here. So approximately about right there. I'm going to make another niche along the same line. Like I said, no need to measure much. Oop, almost went too far. Again, when you're cutting this, be very careful. Do not cut yourself. Have your parents do this for you. If you're a kid doing this, and parents, if you're doing this, be very careful. I have cut myself several times. I know most of y'all are just sitting there watching me going, cut yourself, cut yourself, cut yourself. But I'm going to try not to. Okay? Now, on them little niches that I made, I'm going to put a little bit of glue. I'm going to try to find just about where center is on this thing. And hold it till that dries. Shouldn't take too long. Look at there. See how beautiful that looks? Ay caramba, that's pretty. Then I'm going to go up to the next one. Put a little bit of glue on there. Find center again. Oh, beautiful. Wait for that to dry. Now you've noticed they're a little bit off, but that's okay. A sail most of the time doesn't set straight anyway, so that'll add a little bit of reality to your sail when it goes up in there. Now this thing is going to be placed about dead center of your ship. So we're going to basically drill a hole right through the center of your main board. So that this will fit right snugly through there. See how that did? Beautiful, huh? Now, we're going to make sure that both of the poles are to, I almost had it the wrong way. Both your poles are on the front side of your ship. See, here's your front. Then we'll go to the front side of your ship. Now, that pulled loose. That's okay. That's what the glue gun is for. We're going to put a little bit more glue and there, and there. Glue that back down. Now we're going to put a little bit of glue on the bottom of our stick. Set that back in there. Hold that for a second. And let that sit there. Now this is that gray piece of foam that I showed you. Now I kind of drew a little blood eagle in there, sort of a Viking thing there. I don't know if that's exactly what they look like. I'm not a Viking expert, but I thought it looked cute and I thought it would look good on there. So now the ones that I bought, they have sticky on the back. So I can peel that off there and then attach that right to the top there. And I'll get that off there for a second. Put a little bow in the cell and attach it right to the bottom. Uh-oh, I came loose. That's okay. We'll glue again. Stick that on there. Wait for it to dry. More glue on the bottom to hold that in place. There we go. Beautiful. There we go. Now, we have us a beautiful sail. That's all in place. Once that glue hardens, that'll be great. Now we're going to attach as soon as we get this sail to sit into place there. Beautiful. It's a little top heavy. So what we're going to do is put a little bit of glue underneath of the bottom. There we go. Just got to hold it for a second. That'll give it some stability underneath of the bottom there by gluing it, making a mound around it. Just got to hold it for a bit. Alrighty, got that in there tight. Now we're going to attach the shields to the side. Now this is going to be real easy because we got them little stick pins in there. But still, I'm going to put just a dab of glue on them so they don't come out. Go to the where it first started circling, first start going around, and add one shield, and then just right next to it add another, and another. Should have enough room for 5 on each side. I might have to separate them out just a hair, but we want 5 on each side. Yeah, just like that. Just like that. Now the ship's starting to come into, it's starting to look like a Viking ship now, ain't it? It has only taken us about 2 hours to build, which ain't bad for a craft. Now doing this, there shouldn't be anything poking out through here. Beautiful, beautiful. Now, we have 5 paddles for each side. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, all we need is 4 for each side. So we've actually made too many of these. So is what we're going to do, is we want to put one in between each sail sticking up. So we'll take our glue, stick it at the very tip of the handle of each oar. Just stick it down and kind of just push it in to the foam board. Again, push it in. One more time. A bit of glue. Well, you don't have to push in very deep, just kind of just push. See, since we made so many, we can actually pick and choose which ones we want so we can get the best ones for our boat. Again on the other side. Push it in. Push it in. Push it in. And one more. Push it in. Very good. And there you have it. One completed boat. Now you could add more things to it if you want to. Like you can put ropes coming down to here, coming down through there. You can add more stuff to it. But since this is for D&D, wanted to add as little as possible so you can get your men to walk around in there. And not only that, if you had your little men, like I don't have a man around here. Oh, look at there. Got one. But, you know, you get a little man here. He's a little swashbuckler. He can sit on there and go, I that's you. Of course, that's kind of pirate talk, you know. Orty dirty. That's the Viking. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know. But, you know, he can climb up there, and since it's a sticky, he can stick to it. So he can kind of climb up the sails, you know. Just kind of a neat little thing. That sounds almost like spiderweb. But, you know, he can stand up there like Captain Jack Sparrow. Because I think this is a little sticky. Maybe I ought to build a crow's nest up here. Maybe we'll do that on another. There you go. Captain Jack Sparrow on a Viking ship. How's that? Okay.